Okay, folks, so now we are past binary arithmetic and we are ready to start looking at logical operations, which are AND, OR, XOR, and NOT. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to divide it into two. I'm going to derive with you the results of those operations, and the next video is going to be just practice problems and practice problems. So a good thing to write down if you want to follow along with me is something called a truth table, and that will give us the results of all of these operations. So a lot of you I know have taken discrete math with me, so for some of you, you could probably skip this video because you're already fairly comfortable with it. But for those who have never seen this before, good news, it's really easy. So what we do is we have 0 and 1. I'm going to call it P and Q, where P and Q are our two bits. So it could either be both 0, it could be 1 and 0, and then switched around, or it can both be 1s. And what I'm going to do in the first section over here, I'm going to have OR. So what happens when I take P or Q? And right here in the parentheses is a command that you're going to use when you're actually working in the programming language that we have. I'm going to start exposing you to some of the syntax now, that way it's no surprise to you when you get to the lab. So when you have OR, basically when you OR two things together, the result if just one of them is 1. So in this case, P and Q are both 0, so 0 or 0 is going to be 0. 1 or 0 is 1, 0 or 1 is also 1, and 1 or 1 is also 1. One of them has to be true. 1 can be seen as true, and 0 can be seen as false, or on or off, or however you want to see it. And then the next one, AND, both of them have to be true in order for the whole thing to be true. So in other words, if just one of them is a 0, then the whole thing is false, 0. Okay, now XOR, or EOR, as I'm going to write. Not to be confused with Igor the donkey. XOR is shorthand for exclusive OR. So it's the same kind of thing as OR, but you're going to see a difference. So of course, 0 XOR 0 is going to be 0. 1 XOR 0 is 1, and likewise for the next one. But 1 exclusive OR with 1 is going to be 0. And essentially what that means is you can't be both things at the same time. You can only be one or the other. So if you're both things at the same time, you're violating the rule of exclusion, exclusive. So the whole thing is going to be false. And NOT is just going to flip the bits. And I'm not going to even bother writing it down because not 0 is 1 and not 1 is 0. Okay, so go ahead and write down this table. This was just a very short introduction, and we are going to look at practice problems in the next video.